Welcome to the class today. The subject we'll be treating is agricultural science, and the topic of discussion is forms of croplands, presented by Oyewole Mubarak Adeniyi. The course outline under the course today, we'll be looking into what are croplands, classification of croplands, under which you have based on uses, based on duration, based on number of cotyledon, based on the source of nutrients, based on economic importance, and based on irrigation and cultural methods. And also, we'll be looking into why do we need to know how to classify croplands. And our objective at the end of this class, you should be able to define croplands, classify croplands, and lastly, list why we need to know cropland classification. Now, what are croplands? What do we understand by croplands? Croplands, by definition, are plants or plant products that can be grown and harvested for profit or subsistence. Croplands, that is, they are plants that have a useful purpose or economic value. Plants that are grown by human for food and other resources. Croplands, under the classification, are classified based on different categories, which include based on uses, based on duration, based on number of cotyledon, based on the sources of nutrients, based on economic importance, and based on irrigation and cultural method. Now, we'll be talking on classification based on uses now. Classification based on uses include number one, food crops, which are crops that are harvested for human consumption. Under this, we have grain crops, which are the crops that are grown for their edible grains. Examples are wheat, rice, corn, millet, and others. Also, we have legumes, which are the crop plants that are usually referred to as seed, which are used as food and as a good protein source. Example, you have soya beans, cowpeas, green peas. And also, we have root crops or tuber crops. The main output of these crops are roots and tubers. The roots and tubers are edible. Example, we have carrots, yam, potato, and others. Then we have sugar crops for the production of sugar. The important crops grown are sugarcane and sugar beet. We have starch crop. These are crops that are grown for starch production. Under this, we have the potato as well, tapioca, sweet potato. And we have spices. These are the crops used as ingredients in variety of foods to get flavor and color. You have garlic, ginger, turmeric, onions, curry leaves, black pepper, and others. Number two, we have feed crops, that the crops that are harvested for livestock consumption. The crops that are grown for vegetative matters for livestock to feed on. They can be used for at making silage. Example, we have sorghum, guinea grass, elephant grass. Number 3, we have fiber crops. They are the crops that are harvested for textile and paper products. Example, we have jute, cotton, sun hemp. And number 4, we have oil crops. Those are the crops that are harvested for consumption in industrial or industrial use. The oilseed crops are being used for extracting vegetable oils to fulfill various requirements in food and other sectors. Example, we have groundnuts, we have sunflower, we have soybean, and we have mustard, among others. Number 5, we have ornamental crops, which are the crops that are harvested for landscape gardening. That is, they are grown mainly for beautification, either our environment or any other places. Example, we have white African white Indies. We have double Izora. We have Boina Monandra and others. Number 6, industrial crops. They are the crops that are harvested for the products used in factories or machines. We have timber, we have rubber crops. Number 7, we have medicinal crops. These are grown crops. These are crop grown for medicinal use and refreshing. Example, we have stevia, opium poppy, we have senna, we have lemongrass, we have citronella grass. Now, to the classification based on duration, we have the following. Number 1, annual crops. They are the crops that require 1 full year to complete their life cycle. And example of this crop, we have sugarcane. Number 2, we have biennial crops, which are the crops that are grown in a year, while they flower and complete fruiting in another 1 year. Example of this crop, we have banana, we have carica papaya. And number 3, we have perennial crops, the crops that lives for years. Under this, we have cocoa, we have orange, we have mango, among others. And lastly, under the duration, we have ephemeral crops, crops that complete their life cycle twice in a year. And we can see this kind of crops. Among the crops under this class, under these ephemeral crops, we have vegetable. Now, classification based on number of cotyledons. We have number 1, monocots. They are the crops that have seed with only 1 seed leaf cotyledon. Example, we have maize, we have rice. Number 2, we have dicots, which are the crops that have 2 cotyledons or 2 seed leaves. We have beans, among others. Classification based on source of nutrients. We have carbohydrates, which are the crops that provide body with energy. We have maize, rice, yam. Number 2, proteins, which are the crops that help repair and build body's tissue, allow metabolic reaction to take place, and coordinate bodily function. We have beans as an example. Number 3, vitamins. They help shore up bones, heal wounds, and booster immune system. They also convert food into energy and repair cellular damage. Number 4, fat and oil. They provide energy for living organisms, insulate body organs, and transport fat solution vitamin through the blood. Number 5, we have mineral salts, which are essential to the organisms. In combination with other nutrients, they ensure that the organism functions properly. At number 6, we have water. Body uses water in all its cells, organs, and tissue to help regulate its temperature and maintain other bodily function. We have a classification based on economic importance. We have cash crops. They are the crops that are grown mainly for commercial purpose. And under this we have cotton, we have sugarcane. As well we have food crops. They are the crops grown mainly for human and livestock consumption. Lastly, we'll be talking on classification based on irrigation and cultural methods. Number 1, we have rain-fed crops. These are the crops that are grown by utilizing only rain water. Example, we have maize. And number 2, we have irrigated croplands. These are the crops that are grown under the application of controlled amount of water at needed intervals. Now, we'll be talking on why do we need to know crop classifications. Number 1, to know the crop pattern and schedule. Number 2, to know the different crop adaptabilities. Number 3, to know the water requirements for different season crops. Number 4, to know the soil suitable for different crops. Number 5, to know the agroclimatic of different crops. Number 6, to know the growing habits of different crops. Number 7, to know the economic value of crops and their uses. Number 8, to know the complete requirement for growing agricultural crops. Here we come to the end of today's class, but before we go, here is the assignment. Number 1, what are croplands? Number 2, list and explain classification of crop plants based on uses, sources of nutrients, duration, and economic importance. And lastly, state why we need to know about crop classification. All the assignments to be submitted through the email training@educom.ng. Thanks.